Alright, Piss and Vinegar Day 81, leg day. Skipped yesterday, didn't have time, was focusing on a lot of different things, including finishing off the rest of that Novice program. I fucked up a recording or two, so I wasn't able to upload it on the exact 100 subscribers, so I apologize for that. But it should be up in the next 2 days. I'm just now writing up the written version of it, because there's going to be a video, but there's also going to be a written version. So keep on the lookout for the next day or two of that. And yeah, today's leg day. I didn't do them yesterday because I didn't have much time, so it was really late at night. Wasn't able to play hard, like heavy metal or anything. And with legs, I feel like if you really are not feeling it, it's probably best to just skip them and do them the day after that, or do them the next day when you have energy, because otherwise you're gonna half-ass it when it's already the hardest day of the week, essentially, for most people. So, yeah, I just didn't do them because otherwise I was going to half-ass it, and that would be problematic. Today it wasn't ideal either because I ate a shit ton of ice cream. I was celebrating something today, so I had a bunch of ice cream before this, and I was still really full, and I kept feeling like I was going to puke every set of every deadlift and stuff, so it wasn't super ideal, and I think it impacted my deadlift. I only got 2 sets of the weight I wanted to today, so not able to progress. I went up from 155 last week. I did a 1 rep max too, so that might be impacting my recovery a little bit too. So hopefully next week I'll be back to progressing the deadlifts rapidly. But today I didn't do all sets of 3. I did 2 sets of 5, and then the third set I didn't do because I was just there was no way I was going to be able to get that set, and my kept feeling like I was going to puke, so I didn't do it. But yeah, 157 here. Hopefully next leg session I'll be able to get 157 for all the 5 sets or 3 sets, and then I'll increase the weight once again. So yeah, make sure before leg days you don't eat too much food excessively, and make sure you have plenty of time to rest after eating your meals before leg day. There was a spider, a very venomous spider on the bar. So mid set I tried to fucking stomp on it and kill it, because it was a white tip, which in Australia is basically a spider that if it crawls on you, it gives you necrosis. Your fucking like limbs can potentially fall off and shit. Even if it just walks on you, it can do that. Bite or walk on you. It's super poisonous, so I was trying to stomp on that before it jumped on me or anything, and then I couldn't find it, so I just decided, fuck it, I'll go on with the set. So I might have gone a rep under or rep over, I'm not sure. But yeah, white tip spiders, it's very dangerous. Lots of dangerous spiders in Australia. I see all kinds of spiders up in my gym shed, especially now that it's getting hotter and hotter. Yeah, but overall, pretty good leg day. Leg day is pretty brutal for me because I do so many different exercises, because I do the volume, but I also do the high intensity. So a lot of the exercises, like realistically, I don't necessarily have to do them because I do the volume. But then the problem with the volume is I don't take the sets to mechanical failure, and a lot of the volume exercises don't isolate my legs as much. So like the deadlifts, they hit my quads and glutes and hamstrings a lot, but they also hit my lower back a lot. My lower back is oftentimes the limiting factor, so I can't push through the legs as much as I'd like to, and I don't take the deadlifts to failure because I'm still getting through essentially what is a novice stage on my deadlifts. Or I'm pretty much past the novice stage on my deadlifts now. I deadlifted 195 kilos last week, so I'm 15 kilos above the novice standard, but I'm still linear progressing with the 3 sets of 5, so I'm just going to continue doing that until that stalls out. I'm still doing the same thing with the squats too, but yeah, because I'm doing volume with those 2 movements, I can't take them to failure. I also then do a bunch of extra exercises beyond that. One of which I didn't do today is the Bulgarian split squat, and that's like an extra component, and they all do different little things. Like the Bulgarian split squat is unilateral because I have a imbalance between my left and right leg, and then I do like Nordic curls, because Nordic curls aren't so much for hypertrophy, they're more for like athletic performance and hamstring tendon and ligament stability, and like just generally being able to run and sprint and jump faster, higher, etc. So I do a lot of leg movements, not just for bodybuilding purposes, but also to be strong. Like I do the volume stuff in order to get a impressive looking squat and deadlift. Like for hypertrophy, they're not a huge deal, but for my ego, they are. And then, you know, the Bulgarian split squat and Nordic squat, that's more for like function. And then I do a bunch of exercises for hypertrophy, like I do my hack squat or my belt squat. That is one of the exercises that I do specifically to failure to get big quads and just hypertrophy, not so much for strength. And my laying hamstring curls, that is much more also for strength and hypertrophy. So my leg days are pretty long, unlike the rest of my sessions that are really short. And that is one of the things that I advocate with high intensity, is the fact that the rest of your sessions will be like 20, 30 minutes max. My back days, my chest days, etc. lasts about 20, 30 minutes depending. But my leg days, yeah, they're pretty long and grueling. So I need to make sure that everything's on point before I do them. I have to do them sort of midday-ish or before I've had too many clients, because otherwise if I'm too tired or it's too late and I'm slamming, you know, heavy weights late at night and I'm listening to metal and all these different things and I'm tired after a whole day's work, it doesn't work out so well. So yeah, leg day, already very difficult to do as a high intensity advocate, because taking sets to failure is already painful enough, and then when you take the legs to failure, which it's brutal. It's very brutal. Personally, it makes things a lot easier. If I didn't do the volume squats and deadlifts, it's brutal to take these sets to failure, but I'd still much rather do a 30-40 minute leg day high intensity Dorian Yates style than like a Tom Platz style leg day where you spend 2.5 hours, doing fucking 10 sets of leg extensions and all these like incredibly high reps and short rest intervals and shit. Like, that's just too much time in the gym. I'd be exhausted by the end of it. Too much time in my day. I just don't have time. I smacked my head there. So yeah, although taking squats and deadlifts and different leg movements to failure is incredibly difficult and daunting, personally it's much easier for me to do that than to do a long long leg day where I'm doing like 5 sets of squats and 5 sets of deadlifts and then 5 sets of leg curls and then hamstring curls and all these different accessories. Like these 40 set leg workouts that spend 2 hours, the sets aren't as hard, obviously. You're not feeling like you're going to puke at the end of them because you're taking them to failure, but that shit, I'd much rather rip a band-aid off than pull it off slowly. So yeah, the hack squat here, this was feeling really good today. This machine has saved me a lot of, it's going to be creating me a lot of leg gains. As I just said, like the squats and deadlifts are great, but I'm not taking them to failure. I'm more working on getting my neurological adaptations on those movements. I'm trying to get them strong, and that might not equate to as much size. So these allow me to squat to absolute failure. They allow me to squat ass to grass without my lower back being the weakness. So these are sick. I dig this movement. Ideally, one day I'll buy an actual hack squat machine or a belt squat machine, or both, either one. But for now, this is fine. It's janky, it's awkward, but it gets the job done. And again, today I didn't focus hard enough, and I felt like I didn't put my all into this set. And so later on in the day, I actually came back up into the gym and did another set of these to failure because my legs didn't feel that dead. They didn't feel that fatigued. It might have all been in my head, but I just felt like I needed a bit more. And that can sometimes be one of the pitfalls of high intensity training, is you're self-conscious about the training, or you're feeling like you need a bit more, or you need that extra set. Sometimes that one set you're like, oh, I'm not sure that was enough, and reality is it's very likely it was enough unless you half-assed it, which I felt like I did, but maybe I didn't. Maybe again it's just in your head, and we've all been brainwashed that we need numerous sets in order to grow. So it got to me today. I came back up to the gym later and did another set to failure just because I was like, I'm not sure I did enough today. And then I move on to the laying hamstring curls. Now I do the Nordic curl, so back to more of a functional movement. This isn't so much for hypertrophy. This is to increase my sprints and verticals. And if you've seen my previous video on Sunday, where it was my functional training day where I did sprints, God, Lord knows that I need to fucking improve my hamstrings in order to improve my unbelievably slow sprinting speed. Maybe this Sunday I'll actually go down the park and do a 100-meter sprint and see what my time was. I remember when I was in high school, when I was about 16, I ran, I think it was a 13-second 100-meter, 13 and a half, 13, which wasn't too bad, I think, at the time in my school, which wasn't full of anyone special, but I think it was like second or third place, because my African friend, my West African friend came first, because, well, again, West African, so fast as fuck. He had like a 1090 or something, or 1190, something just really unbelievably fast, like almost like to a Olympic level. This guy was just such a genetic freak. This guy was just, didn't lift weights, didn't do anything, and he had like fucking bulging pecs and like had veins popping out of his chest and shit. Like, I remember one time my sister was like, how come Takunda is bigger than you and he doesn't even lift weights? And I'm like, yeah, fucking nice. My ego is eternally fucked. Good one. So there are people out there that are they're just better than you, and you gotta figure out elsewhere where you're better than them. But yeah, so I might go to the park on Sunday and see what my 100-meter sprint is. I imagine it's a hell of a lot slower than when I was 16. When I was 16, I was lifting weights. It'd been maybe a year or two into lifting weights, and I was pretty strong because I was an early bloomer. So by the time I was 16, I was basically a grown man, and I was like deadlifting like 160 kilos, and you know, only a little bit stronger now as a full-grown adult. I've been way stronger in the past, but yeah, I was pretty much a man-child at that point. But my hips and everything functioned way better. I could imagine myself potentially giving myself a groin tear or something now that I'm 26. But anyway, yeah, I might go to the park and see what my 100 meters. I feel like my 100 meters will be better than my 20-meter dash. Like, my 20-meter dash was really bad because I think my acceleration just sucks. But overall, my sprinting probably just kind of fucking sucks because I'm white. But I'm going to see what happens with these Nordic curls. It is well known that Nordic curls will increase sprinters' 100-meter dashes by huge percentages once they get to the point where they can do a full body weight Nordic curl. So it'd be interesting to see where my sprint improves, especially when I start to cut weight and lose weight. Anyway, see you guys tomorrow for more Piss and Vinegar.